How many clients do you have?
Oh, that's a good question. It ranges a lot. We serve over like 1,000 people a month.
1,000 people a month?
Yeah, okay. Well over 1,000 people a month.
Okay. So you were at the smaller space.
We were at a smaller
right?
space.
So because post acquisition, you were at the smaller space. And then how long were you there? How many years?
So we just made a year here. So it was like, if we're at 6.5, then I was at 5.5 years there.
Okay. So post acquisition, you make some improvements to the business to improve efficiency. And then from there, you're working on building a community. And then if you're there for a few years and then you make the jump to a larger space.
Yeah.
All right. So the larger space gives you more capacity, more room to get more people, dancing and spinning and all that stuff. Right. So talk to us a little bit about the transition from going from a small space to now this much larger space you have here.
Yeah. So from the moment that I made the decision that I was going to purchase the business, my end goal was not like, we're going to live and die in this space. I was like, we're going to keep growing. I kept saying, we're going to have a space and we're going to have multiple rooms and we're going to have higher ceilings and we're going to run shows and do events. I still have my notebook that I used to carry with me every day and just write down ideas in. And every once in a while, I'll look back and be like, look at us. Like, we did all that, Sure. It's a nice little reminder for me too, that I've been manifesting this the whole time. And it really fell in my lap. We were busting out of the seams in West Babylon, but we all loved that space so much that it was kind of hard to leave. It was hard to leave, but we actually kind of got a little forced out of that space. The building was terrible.
Oh, okay.
It was falling apart. We had leaks coming through the roof.
Oh, no, that's unacceptable. Nope.
Yeah, it was messing up the floors. It was outrageous. So I got so fed up one day that we had a leak come in. It actually peeled the paint from behind the walls. And I was like, I'm just so done with this. I care so much about this space. And if you were to walk in, it was like, what was leaking? What wasn't working? What was whatever? And it was beyond me. My landlord was that's a whole other story. You know how they can be sometimes.
Yep.
So I was just like, I'm sick of this. I don't want to do this anymore. I need something that looks like I care about it as much as I actually do. So I'm so dramatic. I literally got in my car and there was an industrial area. We were about 20 minutes away from here initially. So there was an industrial area over there because I knew I wanted industrial space. And I just got in my car and started driving up and down the blocks and I'm looking at the signs and it was like anything that was, we were at 1,500 square feet before. So anything that was 3,000 and up, I started calling, obviously not all the way up within a range. I just started calling. And one of the first people that got back to me was like, oh, we have this space in Bohemia and it was a dance studio before. It's got these 3 rooms. He gave me the price on it. And I was like, And I was like, that's a little bit further than I want to go because we were in just a different demographic and it was a little bit more money than I wanted to spend on rent. But I was like, you know what? Let me go see because I feel like the more that I see what's out there, the better negotiating I can do on the spaces that I have. So we walked in the front. It looked totally different in the front. It was this teal green color. It had this nasty carpet. And I walked in the front and I was like, what the hell? So you know how when you walk in the front here, you know how it's you don't realize what you're going to walk into until you come through that door and it hits that portal where the rooms spread out. Mm-hmm. So I walked in the beginning and I'm like, all right, the drop ceiling, the ceilings don't look too high, but whatever. But when I walked through that door and it opened up into the 3 rooms, I was with my mom at the time and I just looked at my mom and I was like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is the space that I've been talking about for years. So, I continued to look at a couple of other spaces that were closer to the other area. And I was like, everything else feels like we're settling. This is something that we could really grow into, that we could really do unique things with, which we've started to do. And I was like, it's going to be a little bit of a shift for people because we're going further away. But my justification was it was 14 minutes down Sunrise Highway.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. And because we're so niche, I was collecting a lot of information from people and it's people were coming from every direction anyway, because this isn't a crunch gym that you're going to find on every corner. If you want to do this, you're going to find your way to get there.